Heavy rainstorm in Guangdong on June 27, 2025 in Guangdong Province in China was hit by a very severe rainstorm. This event is one of the most significant natural disasters to hit the region in recent decades. The rainstorm not only brought very high rainfall, but also accompanied by strong winds, lightning, and flash floods that caused major damage to infrastructure, agriculture, and people's lives. In this article, we will discuss the causes, impacts, and efforts to deal with the rainstorm. Causes of the rainstorm in Guangdong. The rainstorm in Guangdong on June 27, 2025 was influenced by several meteorological and climatological factors. First, the Guangdong region is located in the tropics and subtropics that are prone to extreme weather, especially during the rainy season. At that time, intense low air pressure formed in the South China Sea, which attracted moist air masses from the Pacific Ocean. This produced very large and stable cumulonimbus clouds, which triggered heavy rain. Second, global climate change also played an important role in the intensity of the rainstorm. Global warming has caused sea surface temperatures to rise, which in turn increases the amount of water vapor in the atmosphere. This water vapor is then released in the form of heavy rain when it encounters unstable atmospheric conditions. Guangdong, as a coastal area, is highly vulnerable to the impacts of climate change. The rainstorm that hit Guangdong on June 27, 2025, caused serious environmental, economic, and social impacts. Rainfall reaching more than 300 millimeters in 24 hours caused flash floods in various parts of Guangdong. Rivers overflowed, and the existing drainage system was unable to accommodate such a large volume of water. The floods submerged hundreds of thousands of homes, office buildings, and public infrastructure. Some areas located in lowlands were even submerged in water more than 2 meters deep. Transportation infrastructure, such as highways, bridges, and railways, were severely damaged. Several bridges collapsed due to strong water pressure, while major roads were covered in mud and debris. The international airport in Guangzhou was also forced to temporarily close due to flooded runways. The agricultural sector in Guangdong was also significantly affected. Rice fields, orchards, and fish farms were submerged in water, causing crop failures and major economic losses. Farmers lost their livelihoods, and food supplies to other areas were disrupted. The rainstorm also caused casualties. More than 100 people were reported to have died from drowning, being hit by debris, or being electrocuted. In addition, thousands of people were forced to evacuate to emergency shelters because their homes were no longer habitable. The strong winds that accompanied the rainstorm caused many electricity poles and telecommunications towers to collapse. As a result, hundreds of thousands of households experienced power outages, and communication networks were disrupted. This made rescue efforts and aid coordination difficult. Response efforts. The Chinese government and the Guangdong regional government immediately took emergency measures to deal with the impact of the rainstorm. Some of the efforts made include rescue teams, including soldiers and volunteers, were deployed to evacuate residents trapped in flooded areas. Emergency aid such as food, clean water, blankets, and medicine were also distributed to evacuation sites. The government immediately began the process of repairing damaged infrastructure. Collapsed bridges and roads were repaired, and drainage systems were strengthened to prevent future flooding. A special assistance program was provided to farmers who lost their crops. The government provided seeds, fertilizers, and funds to help them restore their farmland. The government also committed to improving the early warning system for extreme weather. More sophisticated satellite and weather radar technology will be used to monitor atmospheric conditions and provide early warnings to the public. As for Rongjiang County, Guizhou Province, which recently experienced a major flood that occurred once in more than 50 years, as of 11 a.m. on Thursday, 6 people had died. The Guangdong Provincial Flood Control Headquarters held a meeting on the same day to assess the current situation of tropical depression defense in the South China Sea and to study and deploy the latest wind and flood prevention work. At the meeting, it was emphasized that all regions and departments should uphold the work goal of 0 deaths and less losses, continue to strengthen monitoring, forecasting, and early warning, closely follow the latest typhoon developments, strengthen rotating consultation and judgment, and issue typhoon warnings and defense reminders in a timely manner. At the same time, we must do a good job in wind prevention at sea. The western Guangdong waters, Jiangmen, Yangjiang, Zhanjiang, Maoming, should implement 600% measures to prevent typhoons. On the basis of ensuring safety, all fishing vessels operating at sea will return to port to avoid the wind. All personnel of fish farming and marine farming will go ashore to avoid danger. All personnel on offshore wind power construction platforms will be evacuated. All coastal tourist attractions will be closed, and marine fishing vessels, submarines, and other recreational vessels and city ships will be prohibited from going to sea. The sea crossing route will be closed in a timely manner. Since Tuesday, 24, Rongjiang County has been hit by major floods. The water levels of the Duliu River, Pingyong River, and Guizhou River have continued to rise rapidly, with a maximum peak flow of 11,360 cubic meters per second. Many low-lying areas in the county were flooded, and the infrastructure of some cities was severely damaged, resulting in traffic congestion, communication disruption, and some people being trapped. At present, the water level in the county has dropped below the warning level, and dredging, drainage, epidemic prevention and disinfection, post-disaster reconstruction, and investigation of trapped people are underway. The Central Meteorological Observatory predicted on Thursday that from today to Friday, 27, there will be heavy rain in southwest, Jiangnan, Jianghan, Huanghai, and South China. Among them, there will be heavy rain of 100 to 180 millimeters in northeastern and southwest Guizhou, southeastern coastal areas of Guangxi, and southwest Guangdong. Pay attention to disaster risks such as mountain floods, geological disasters, urban rainstorm inundation, and flooding of small and medium rivers. High-temperature weather continues in Beijing, Tianjin, Hebei, Shandong, and other places, and pay attention to its adverse effects on urban operations and human health. The Central Meteorological Observatory continued to issue a yellow warning for heavy rain and a blue warning for severe convective weather at 6 a.m. on Thursday.